Hey witches! So this is an impromptu live stream because I have been trying to find the best way to share this story, and it seems like every time I have it really planned out, something happens. So I'm going to be really real with y'all and just do this live, unedited, unscripted, whatever you want to call it, and just get it out there. And I wanted to give a heads up that it seems like every time I talk about this, I cry. So I may end up, like halfway through this explanation or video, just start bawling. And I'll try not to, just out of clarity. But I just wanted to give you that heads up. And there might be some stuff in this story that is a little triggering for some of you all who have gone through instances in your lives that have included emotional or psychological abuse. Just a heads up. If you are in a place right now where you can't handle something like that, here's your trigger warning. So I'm going to get right into it. This is kind of the story of why I started Start Witchin. And it's actually the story of four women. Four women that I have met along my journey since 2009, when I decided that I wanted to make witchcraft and tarot and magic the source of my livelihood, the focus of my business, my life, my career, my whatever you want to call it. And let's see. In 2009, I was reading tarot for an event. I used to read tarot constantly for events, and I've recently pulled back on that. But this was when I was just getting started doing events in a big way. And this event was so busy. It was outdoors, and there's people just everywhere. It was packed. And I was doing one-card readings. And people come by. It was mostly one-card yes or no readings. Sometimes I'd add a little bit of information depending on if I got a nudge intuitively or psychically. So this woman comes up, and I can see her clear as day, but I don't think I ever knew her name. But she comes up, and she gets a one-card draw. She doesn't tell me what she's asking about. I don't ask. I learned early on not to ask what the reading is about, as far as quick readings like that, just because it can get more, emotionally involved, and I usually end up doing a full reading. Whenever it's major events like that, it's usually not the best because there's people standing around staring at you while you're getting your cards read. So, again, one card draw, and I pulled up Justice, and I remember the card very clearly. I remember, how I felt. I almost remember exactly what I told her, along the lines of, whatever you're going through, it's going to be hard. It's not going to be easy. It's going to be a really difficult road. It's going to be a lot of heartache, but it's going to come out okay. You're going to get what you're seeking as far as justice, but it's just not going to be easy. It's going to suck. And she thanked me and didn't really say much else. She tipped me pretty heavily. I remember that. And then she left, and I was like, okay. Well, I had already forgotten her because it was packed. It was a lot of people waiting for readings. And next thing I know, my husband's coming up behind me and tapping me on the shoulder and saying, somebody needs to talk to you. And I was like, okay. So he took over my readings for me because at the time he was also offering readings. So he took over my table, and I turned around, and there was that woman, and she was bawling. And she was next to the cafe outside of which I was reading. So her and I stepped aside. And I was like, well, I was thinking I had done something wrong, that I had said something, and I was trying so hard. What did I say to her that was, so heartbreaking? But it wasn't what I had said. It was her situation. This woman was a practicing witch until she got married. She wasn't really out of the broom closet. Her husband-to-be knew that she was a practicing witch. A few close friends knew, but that was about it. And when she got married, she thought she would have her husband's support. And like many witches in the broom closet, she thought, well, after I, move out of my parents' house, get supported on my own or have the support of, my husband or my partner, I'll be able to come out of the broom closet more. I'll be able to, have my own altar space out in public. I'll be able to, do what I need to do openly. Well, he encouraged her to stay in the broom closet. He's like, our parents won't like it. My parents won't like, nobody's going to like it. Just, keep it under wraps. And then as time went on, he told her she needed to hide her stuff even in the house. Didn't want people coming into the house to see it. And then time went on again, and he made her get rid of her stuff. And then she couldn't practice anymore. He absolutely forbade her to practice. And it became it was essentially emotional and psychological abuse. So the reading was, she's getting a divorce because of this and other stuff he has done. But they have children. And she did not, he had already told her that he was going to use the fact that she was in the past a practicing witch against her in their child custody battle. And she was terrified that she was going to lose her children because she's a witch. So I told her, that her practice was protected. It's a religious, right, and that, this is no foundation for having her children taken away from her. I immediately researched on Witchbox at the time some resources for her as far as civil rights situations, stuff like that, about your religion does not make it so your children can be taken away from you. So little did I know that this would not be the first woman that would come into my life who would be in this situation. Or not she would not be the last one. She was the first one. She would not be the last one. 3 other women I have known have been in situations where their spouse or their partner or their lover, the person they lived with, the person who is supposed to support them in the things that they do because they love them, has said, no, you can't practice. I'm not going to let you practice. I'm not condoning your practice. And they have made themselves small. And the catalyst, the big catalyst for Start Witchin' for my business was when a witch I look up, I'm going to start crying, a witch I look up to very much. I've looked up to her for years, since I've come out, so years ago. And she's huge on YouTube, and when I say this, many of you are going to know who I'm talking about, but she was sharing about how she's been having relationship issues, and she loves him, but he has been the main reason why she has played small in her life, in her witchcraft, in her business. And to see somebody, I know you're not supposed to, you're not supposed to have idols. You're not supposed to have people that you think are, up on a pedestal and untouched by, real life shit. But to see somebody I respect in the witchcraft community going through this whole ordeal where they have given their power to somebody else in their life. They have played small. They have forgotten that the very tenet, the very purpose of witchcraft is to make your life better. To give you power over your life, to make it, what you want it to be. And it's not and it's not just domestic violence situations, or even, if you don't consider emotional or psychological issue, abuse, domestic violence, but I do. Anyway, so it's not just those situations. I've seen it witch after witch in my life, including myself. I've forgotten this too, that when we have problems, money problems, relationship problems, health and wellness and beauty problems, if you're not happy with your body, if you're not happy with your job, you're not happy with your relationships or lack thereof, that we can turn to our craft. We can make shit happen if we just remember that we have the power to do that. So I was thinking about this, and I was so heartbroken, and just thinking, like, man, witch after witch after witch. I know witches who I know one who she's literally not allowed to do anything that her husband does not also do. And that's heartbreaking. I know witches who have tried to start their own business and have given their power over to other people in their lives and failed in their business, even though they know in their heart this is what they're meant to be doing. I see so many witches who they give their power over to other people in their lives. They give their power over to what our society says they should be as women, as mothers, as sisters, as wives, as witches, as spiritual people. And by doing so, they've made themselves small, they've made themselves weak, and they have to remember, we are powerful, and we can create worlds. And so when I was thinking about this, when I was thinking and crying and just like, oh my gosh, how can I do something for this, for them, for myself? And a phrase kept coming up to me, kept just nudging at the back of my mind. Stop bitchin', start witchin'. Stop bitchin', start witchin'. Stop complaining, stop, there's so many witchcraft communities online, and it's like one big bitch fest of complaining about discrimination, about people in your life not accepting you, of not having a job that you like, not having housing that you like, not having the weight or the looks or the family or whatever that not loving any of that. And then following that up with, what are you doing for the full moon? What should I do for the eclipse? What should I do for this? What should I do for that? Or what candle is best for this? Do something that makes your life better. That's the whole point. And if we're not doing magic, if we're not doing witchcraft to make our lives better, then why are we even doing it? So stop bitching, start witching. That's the whole point. And if I can help a witch step into her power, realize that she is a powerful creatrix, she's a force to be reckoned with, she's able to create worlds and make her own dreams come true. If I can help one witch do that, man, it's so worth it. It's so fucking worth it. So that is the story of why I created this whole business, this job, this website, these programs that, these ebooks I'm about to put out. It's to remind you that you are powerful. You are the maker of your own world. And I can't wait to work with you. So thank you so much for watching. You've blessed me just by watching this video.